Hello and welcome to this episode of Hampton Roads Business Live. My name is Rory Graham and I'm your host, and today we have the pleasure of having with us Brad Furman from Atlantic Bay Mortgage Group. Welcome, Brad.
Thanks, Roy. Thanks for having me.
Why don't you give us an overview of what Atlantic Bay does?
Atlantic Bay is a local lender. We do all residential mortgages. We've been around for 17 years now in Hampton Roads, but we do stretch across the eastern United States. We have offices in Roanoke, we have offices down in Florida, down in South Carolina, so we're all over the place. But we're based out here in Hampton Roads, and I'm a local native. I've been working for Atlantic Bay now for the last couple of years. Been in the business for almost 15 years. It'll be 15 years coming up this coming May in 2014. So enjoy helping people. That's why I got in the business.
Well, you sound very passionate about it, and so mortgage business must be good.
Mortgage business is good. There's always ups and downs, but definitely people are out there buying homes, and they'll always be buying homes. So for our viewers out there, we tell them, don't worry about, is there a home that I can get into, because we're going to help you get into that home. There's homes that people can buy out. There's great deals still on the market out there.
Okay. All right, well, let's talk about some of the particulars about this. How do you help potential buyers for houses that are up for sale?
Okay, for our sellers that are looking to buy, looking to have their house on the market, we can help them to actually market their houses. So we have a full marketing department at Atlantic Bay, full that work for us, that actually help us to put the house out there. So we put it on websites, we send postcards out for them.
Is this for sale by owner?
These are not for sale by owner. These are actually, well, it could be for sale by owner. We can have a seller come to us directly and we can help them. But mostly for realtors, we help realtors to basically market their homes that they have listed so that their sellers can get those homes sold faster. Okay. So we basically help them send out postcards, we help them with flyers, we help them with open houses, we put their house on lots of websites, a full marketing for that house so that potential buyers can be able to come and see that house.
Okay. Let's talk about adjustable rate mortgages. That was a big deal years ago, and I would sense that that's not such a good deal now to do. I mean, I don't know, but
really it depends, Roy. For the right person, it's a great program. We say a lot of military, they're only going to be here for a few years. If they know they're not going to keep the house, well, why, rates are low. Let's face it, they're still very, very low. Your fixed rates are very, very low. So it's a great time to lock in a fixed rate. But if you're only going to be here for a few years, you may be able to get that slightly lower rate with an adjustable rate mortgage. So for the right person, it may be the right program for them. Someone who's only going to be here for a short period of time, we can maybe do a 5-year fixed rate and then adjust after that. So if they're only here for 5 years, maybe ideal for them.
Well, I can see that. Okay.
So there's no. What I'm trying to say to our viewers is, don't be fearful of adjustable rate mortgages, because they're not necessarily the worst program out there for you.
Okay. And have interest rates, I know they've been historically low, but are they still low?
They are still low. They've been lower. They're always changing daily. Sometimes a couple times a day. We've had some big changes in the last couple of weeks, but they're still very, very low. It's a great time to lock in. I can remember when I first got in the business when rates were in the 8s, and now they're down in the 4s. We still have rates in the 3s. So high 3s for some of those 15-year mortgages. So they're available. The rates are still very low for our viewers. Definitely a time to come and lock in a rate.
Now is that's a good enticement for someone who wants to refinance? So refinancing is still a good idea, especially if you have one of those higher interest rates.
Definitely, that could be a reason. I am still doing refinances. There are still programs out there for people who want to refinance, and believe it or not, there's people that never took advantage of even lower rates that we had, and I'm still getting people calling me now for refinances. So refinance is still a great time to refinance.
Okay. And what about people who are underwater? I mean, when 2008 hit and the real estate market kind of went in the dumper, and the property values, I mean, like for instance, my house, it just dropped. And each year it dropped and continues to drop. And it's starting to come back a little bit now, but What happens to people who owe more on it than
Well,
than it's
I
worth?
tell you what, we're beneficial,
See.
being here at Hampton Roads because we have the military. We have a lot of. It's a transient area, so our values did drop down in Hampton Roads, but they are starting to come back up, and values are still there. So a lot more people are able to do more things with their house now. They're able to refinance, but if they are upside down in their mortgage, meaning that they owe more than what the house is actually worth, we do have programs for them. We have government programs that have been put out there that we're actually able to refinance their house if they're upside down. So no fears, give me a call, and that's the way we can find out whether or not they can refinance or not.
Well, I'm kind of hearing that as a thread of everything you're saying is that you have quite a list of programs and quite a list of services that you can fit to the individual.
We do.
So no matter what their situation is, you can custom something to them.
We do. We try to help every person that we talk to, whether they're not able to do anything right now, and we have to help them to maybe help to get their credit score up or whatever it may be to be able to get them to the point where they're able to reach that goal of home ownership, or whether they're ready to buy now. We have programs, all residential mortgages, we can help them with.
Okay, you mentioned credit score. That's a big important factor. So what would someone do you advise them to find out what their credit score is? Does it need to be a certain point to even talk to you, or is that something you do? They are interested, you find out what it is, and you tell them where they stand?
Well, we do. The first step is to come and give me a call, and when you give me a call, we sit down either face-to-face or over the phone, and we get all their information, and we do pull a credit score. Now, a viewer can look at their own credit score, but that may not necessarily be the credit score that their mortgage score is going to be. There's a little bit different scoring tactic involved when you're talking about mortgages. So your score may be a little bit lower, maybe a little bit higher when I pull your score. So we do look at credit score. Minimum credit score is usually around 620. If you have a 620 score, we can find a home for you. We can be able to get a mortgage for you.
Okay. All right, well, that's a good rule to remember. All right, are there any more 100% no money down loans?
There
used
are.
to hear about a lot of those,
we used to do a lot of them, but there are. In fact, for our viewers that live out in the rural areas, you can actually get in with no money down. For our first-time home buyers, they can get in with no money down, and of course for our veterans, there's still no money down programs, so they're still available. Can I go back to
Sure.
credit score real quick, because we do have a.
All
One
right,
thing
let you
that
go
we
back
do.
with just once.
Just once, all right.
Okay, go ahead.
One thing that I do best is helping people, and I love to help buyers or potential buyers, or even people that may already own their home that want to refinance. And what I can do is take a look at their score, and if their score's just not quite there, then we have a program that we put them into to help them reach those goals. So whether it takes 30 days or whether it takes 6 months or 2 years, we're going to be there for them, and I'm going to be there for them to help them reach those goals.
Okay, so you can help them even improve the credit score.
Yes, we have a
Get on the
credit
right
score.
track.
Exactly. And we do have a full rescore program that we look at their credit, and we simulate what we need to do in order to get their credit score to where it needs to be, and then we go ahead and rescore them and get their credit score up.
Now, see, that was my next question. What if someone has bad credit? You just jumped all over that. Okay. All right. So how long does it take for someone to qualify for a loan?
Well, typically, if they give me a call, I can have them pre-approved within 30 minutes or so. It doesn't really take that long.
Really?
Now, what happens is someone will, once we get them pre-approved over the phone, then I'll actually have them come in and do the application process. And then I'll actually send it to an underwriter, and we have in-house underwriters and processors that will actually process the loan, and then we'll go ahead and get an actual underwriter approval.
Now, do they come into you before they found a house? Can they do that and you say, well, you're pre-approved up to this amount?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so that would be, and then they know what kind of a range they could look at?
Exactly. One of the benefits of Atlantic Bay is we do what's called to be determined loans. So we actually can have them come in while they're in the process of looking for a house. It's already gone to an underwriter. We already have an actual approval for them, so they know exactly. So there's no fear. They're not going to fall in love with a house and not be able to buy that house.
Right. Well, I think that would be a kind of a smart thing to do, is to get pre-approved, and then you know what to look for. I mean, they're just looking at a $500,000 house when you can't afford but $300,000.
And you don't want to fall in love with a house that you can't buy either.
Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Okay. So what type of, I guess we've covered a little bit of this, but what type of mortgages do you do? I know you mentioned 15-year, 30-year.
We do all residential mortgages. So we do
Okay.
15-year, 30-year mortgages. We do fixed rates, adjustable rate mortgages. We do construction to perm loans. So if we got a buyer out there that wants to buy a lot and they want to build on it, we'll be able to help them from start to finish on the construction loan and also do the permanent financing for them. We do VA loans for our veterans, VHDA loans, which are first-time home buyer programs, and of course we have those conventional loans, those Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans. So pretty much any residential loan that's out there we can take care of.
There is differences. This wasn't on my list, so don't want to throw you a curve here. But there isn't. There is differences between mortgage companies. So I know that there are a lot of people assume they're all doing the same rate. They're all doing the same service. They're all doing, one's as good as the other. Mm-hmm. That's not true. There is a difference.
There is a difference.
Okay.
I mean, we're local lenders.
Mm-hmm.
Now, as far as rates go, rates are going to be about the same across the board. As far as service goes, that's where the difference is.
That's where the difference is.
I mean, we are a local lender. We have in-house underwriters and processors. We can process and close your loan from start to finish in 29 days. And we strive on trying to go for closing date. So if someone wants to move in a house, they're expecting to move in a house, let's face it.
Right.
So we want to make sure that they move in a house. In fact, I'll tell you a little story about what sets us apart. We go that extra mile. So I have a client that's ready to move in. They have already gotten their kids registered for school. They're expecting to close. Well, we're missing documents from the condo association. So I go down to the condo association myself, because if I want to send an abstractor out there, it may take another week and then we won't meet our closing date. So I take that extra time, go down to the courthouse, pull the documents, take it to my underwriter, get them cleared to close, and close on time. So it's just that extra customer service. We're all about customer service.
Okay. Well, that's a tremendous point to consider when you're picking any company to deal with is how they treat their customers. Let's see. Well, I was going to say what sets Atlantic Bay apart, but I think you just told me.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, you're one step ahead of me all the time. So, okay, that's all right.
I'm just so excited. I mean, I love Atlantic Bay, and Atlantic Bay is by far, to me, I've worked in the business for going on 15 years. This is my third company I've worked for, and by far the best company I've ever worked for.
Uh-huh. Well, you certainly seem enthusiastic about it. So, I mean, you just jumped ahead of me just a little bit again by telling me a little bit of your background. But how did you get involved in this business?
Well, I actually
as a kid, you weren't sitting there thinking, "I want to be a mortgage."
No, but to be honest with you, it just kind of fell in my lap. I had a neighbor that was working for a company, and she actually just was hiring. She actually was a manager of that company, and she just knew that I was in finance. I had been in finance in the past, and so she figured that I may like to get into the mortgage business. So she came over, and lucky me, that's where I ended up. She came over and hired me, and I've been in the mortgage business ever since. I enjoy helping people. One thing that we love to do is give back. Atlantic Bay is the largest state supporter for Multiple Sclerosis Society in the state of Virginia. And we also have a new part of the company. It's called Atlantic Bay Gives Back. And we love to help people. And that's one reason that I enjoy coming over to Atlantic Bay.
Well, that's good. It's good to have a company that's community driven. Is there anything else that I haven't covered that you'd like to mention?
Well, I'd like to mention, since we're right around the holiday time now, one thing that Atlantic Bay is doing is we are doing angel trees, what used to be called angel trees for the elderly. So basically, any of our Atlantic Bay local locations in Hampton Roads will have a tree up. You can take one of the wish lists, for say, from the tree, go buy a present for someone who's elderly that doesn't have family members that aren't able to get Christmas gifts or holiday gifts, and we'll go ahead and distribute those. We work closely with Catholic Charities of Virginia, and we distribute the gifts to the elderly.
Well, that's great.
So that's around the holiday time. It's every year. Starts from right now, and it goes through the 15th of December. So you can go to any one of our locations and pick up a holiday.
And tell us, how many locations do you have? And you service all over.
We service all of Virginia. Like I said, we have locations all over the place. We're in Newport News, we're in Virginia Beach, we're also in South Carolina, we're in Florida. So we're all over eastern Hampton Roads, or eastern the United States.
Right.
But as far as Hampton Roads locations go, we have several locations on the south side and several locations on the peninsula.
Well, then it'd be easy to get to.
Yeah, I would say the easiest thing to do is just to go to our website, atlanticbay.com, and it pulls up all of our locations.
Okay, cool. All right, so if you are looking to purchase a home, you're looking to refinance a home, second property or something, and you just want to check out what the possibilities are, which might be a good idea with interest rates changing all the time and all. There might be a program that can be customized just for you through Atlantic Bay. You can give Brad a call. His contact information is at the end of this video and at the bottom of this page. I thank you for coming in today, and I wish you a great deal of success, but it sounds like you're already there.
Well, thank you, Roy. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. All right.